Welcome to Reddit's Darkest Corner, where we venture into the most chilling and unfiltered real-life experiences shared by everyday people. From spine-tingling encounters to stories that will make your skin crawl, we're here to explore the terrifying truths that lurk just beneath the surface. My house was haunted. So this happened when I was a kid, and our house was surrounded by woods, and there was only a few neighbors around us. Every once in a while during the night at around midnight, I would lay in bed because I couldn't sleep. I felt a creepy vibe, like something or someone was watching me. Sometimes I would hear footsteps coming from the attic above my bedroom. It sounded like someone was walking around. I went outside my bedroom into the hallway, and everyone in my family was sleeping and their doors were closed. So I went back to my bedroom and closed my door. I was laying in my bed again and I heard the footsteps in the attic. Then I heard something fall in my closet. I was so scared that I ran into my parents' bedroom and woke them up. They were confused at first, but then I explained to them what I heard. My mom and dad said it was probably just my imagination and they didn't believe me. They walked with me back to my bedroom and looked around my bedroom, and then they went inside my closet. There was a board game that had spilled all over the closet floor. It was at the back of the shelf at the top of my closet, so there was no way it could have fallen without someone pushing it off. My parents helped me clean it up and put it back on the shelf. They said that there was nothing to be scared of, and then they put me back to bed. They went back to bed too, and a few minutes after they left, I heard someone whispering something. It sounded like they were calling my name. Then I saw a shadow that looked like a person walking across the wall by my closet. I thought it was a ghost and I started freaking out again, and I grabbed my pillow and blanket and went to sleep on my parents' bedroom floor. After that, I slept on their floor for a few more nights. Eventually, I went back to sleeping in my bedroom, and when I would lay in bed again at around midnight, I still heard the footsteps in the attic, and that continued every once in a while until we eventually moved away. To this day, I still don't know what or who that was, but it still freaks me out. I used to chat to a ghost when I was 7. I don't know much and don't remember much, but my dad told me I did this and I have vivid memories of it. When I was 7, we moved into my uncle's house when he moved. As we were moving in, I saw a kid at our front yard outside the gate. He was wearing blue shorts, but I don't remember what he was wearing beyond that. I walked over to him and said hi, and we started to talk about dinosaurs. He told me he was 6 and his name was David. My dad then walked over to us and asked, "What the heck are you talking to?" I told him I was talking to David, but he said there's no one there. The next day I saw him again. He then told me, "Stay away from the train tracks." I asked why, but he walked away. My dad told me a few years later that I talked to him, and I was intrigued as I know that he couldn't be an imaginary friend because I hated those. I believe that it was a ghost, and am trying to know as much as I can from my dad. I'll update you guys if I find out anything else. Something in the dark growled my name. When I was around 12 years old, I lived in a cabin with my family on about 5 acres of land. There was lots of fixing up we had to do on it before living in it because squatters had taken over the abandoned property. But it was really fun working on it together as a family. When we first moved in, I loved the house. There were plenty of places to explore outside, and the most I had to worry about were the spiders, snakes, and mice that would find their way in our home sometimes. That was until I started seeing things. It started as just an occasional glimpse of something dark, thin, and tall, running down the hallway out of the corner of my eye while I was on the couch. Then it got more and more prevalent. I would see the dark being standing there or peeking at me from behind things from out of my peripheral. Every time I'd turn to look, it would be gone in an instant. It would do this over and over, almost taunting me. I began to get intense feelings of dread, like something was watching me, waiting for its moment to strike. I especially remember the night when it was the worst, the night that I fell asleep on the couch, which is what prompted me to tell you all this story. After a long night of having fun and playing Minecraft, staying up way too late with my online friends, I decided I would pop a movie on and just sleep on the sofa. After falling asleep, I awoke at a random time in the middle of the night. I instantly felt cold, afraid, and like something was seriously wrong. I lied there in the dark, and it didn't take long to realize I could hear my parents in the room next to me having sex, which luckily for me only lasted a few short minutes. I couldn't shake that horrible feeling I woke up with, and I also felt grossed out by what I had heard previously, so I kinda stayed frozen on the couch in fear, hoping I could fall back asleep soon. Every ounce of my being was telling me not to move, that something wasn't right. That's when I heard it from the kitchen. Something decided to make itself known that night and growled my name, almost in a "I'm gonna getcha" kind of way. I remember feeling my blood run cold, my body felt tingly like static, and I felt like all of the breath had been taken out of my body. I will never forget its voice. Raspy, deep, and croaky is the best way I can describe it, shaking and praying that I could just go to sleep and forget everything. I honestly think the amount of fear I was feeling helped me to fall back asleep very quickly as a sort of coping mechanism. I was genuinely convinced that I was going to die that night. The next day, when I told my parents what I'd heard, we tried to bless the home and cast out whatever was in there. We anointed every door in the home with oils, saged every room, and told whatever was there that it did not belong. It genuinely seemed to work. A few years later, I found out that in that very house, my father was doing some real fucked up shit. He isn't in my life anymore, and I'm not going to get into the nasty details, but I believe that he was attracting evil beings into the home with the kind of stuff he was into. He was doing evil things, and that brought evil into our home. Creepy, but true. Before I start, just want to say these are personal experiences and none of this is made up. The reason I'm making this post is I don't really have anyone to talk to about this, so just want your thoughts. There are too many things that have happened to note them all in this post, so I'll just go over some that stand out to me. When I was little, around 5 I had this dream I could see myself sleeping, and I was floating above. I then floated over to my parents' room and saw my parents fast asleep. After that, I don't remember anything. However, apparently at that exact moment, my mom was having a similar dream where she saw me getting pulled out of the front door by some kind of shadow figure. Immediately at that same time, my mom heard a scream and goes out to see what's going on. She sees the front door wide open and me looking like I'm going back to sleep. I've chalked it up to astral projection or something, but really IDK what that was. There's been a whole slew of other things that have happened that I won't get into right now, but what's been happening recently is really the main reason for this post. I keep hearing weird tapping, creaking noises in certain spots in my room at the most weirdest moments. Not sure how to explain it, but other people who have heard it in my room admit the sound is weird, but try to rationalize the sound as the house settling. Also, it's worth noting this is not the same house I was in as that last story. Another thing that happened somewhat recently is I was playing chess with my dad and had the pieces I had taken on the side of the table. Once the match is over, we go to put the pieces away and realize only one is missing. We both didn't drop anything or hide it. Literally searched the entire living room top to bottom and never found the piece. One other thing that happened in this same house was we were all in the living room playing a game or something, when we suddenly hear something break in the kitchen. Go to check it, and a bowl that was already on the counter broke literally in half just sitting on the counter. No one else was there, it didn't even shatter into a bunch of pieces. There's definitely more I can share, just wanted to get your initial thoughts on this. Like and subscribe for more stories. Help us get to 1K by the end of this year.